6:30 in the morning, ladies and gentlemen, and Breeze Nation is in the building. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Ladies and gentlemen, the morning breeze. Jordan JC just got up 3 minutes ago, barely made it to the show, and he sleeps in a hoodie.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, y'all? Hey, a lot to get into on today's episode. Gotta preview this Bills and Bears game. This is going to be an interesting game because we're going to actually get to see the starters. I don't know about preview as much, right? There's not this in-depth breakdown. I'm not going to tell you what scheme the Bills are running here. But what I do want to talk about is what key players we're going to be watching for, what kind of takeaways we want to see in this game. What at the end of this game, what is the thing that we need to see this Chicago Bears team have accomplished? We'll talk about all that more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I'm gonna let Sue Young say it. Y'all know what she said.
Come on, push the button. Come on, push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
You heard what she said, man. Push the goddamn button. It's a Friday morning. I'm excited. I'm hyped. I'm off of 6 shots of coffee right now, a Red Bull and a Viagra. So you know I'm working hard. No, I'm just playing.
Calm down there, buddy. What's going on?
What's good, Jordan? How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm good. This morning thing might work for me. I haven't had any coffee yet, but I might have a steak and eggs eventually.
Oh boy, we
for
knew
breakfast.
what was
Steak's
happen.
always good for all types of meals. So, hey.
steak. It doesn't matter what time of day it
steak
is.
In the morning, steak in the evening.
Let's get this thing started, man. Appreciate y'all in the chat. Up early with us. Crimson is in the building. Crimson
Shout
said,
out Crimson.
I believe that this is I think it's 4:30 there or 5:30 there where Crimson is at. Crimson's up early to be with us, ladies and gentlemen. So shout out to Crimson in here. 1920 Bears in the building from the Twitter side. Shout out to the Twitter side as well. Bennett said, yo, Pat, how we doing? What's going on, my guy? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Jesse in the building. Oh, he's right. We do got the squad in the building. Yeah. Oh, morning, Yurt. All right, let's jump into this topic, man, because we got starters. I'm excited about starters. Talked about the starters playing yesterday. Jordan, what do you need to see from this Bears team? I don't know why I called you Jordan. That felt weird. JC, what do you need to see from this Bears team? That felt weird. You're going real name on the show.
Say my real name, huh?
From this Bears team to start things off that at the end of this Buffalo Bills game, if you can leave here with a couple of things as your takeaways, what do you want to see?
Honestly, from everything I've been hearing, I really, first of all, want to see some chemistry on offense. I've been hearing that the offense really hasn't been flowing. A lot of penalties in practice. A lot of stops. In the 2-minute drills. Defense has really been coming down hard on those guys. But ultimately, I would love to see just a little bit more competency on offense with the first quarter. I believe, however long the first team, the first string offense stays in. So honestly, yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see competency from Caleb. I want to see this offensive line, the new and improved offensive line, apparently, because you got Coleman Shelton at center, and Nate and I guess Ryan Bates is going to be the right guard. And that looks like that's the tandem right now. So I want to see what that looks like if they're good with protection, and just competent offense.
No, I agree with you. Listen, and for me, the big takeaway, the thing that I need to see, honestly, is you kind of alluded to it there, but it is a quarter because you need to see this offensive line get some continuity together. And I don't think that there's any better place to get continuity than out on the field versus a real defense that actually can take your quarterback's head off. Now, I would hope that we don't see that, but I think that those are the moments that are going to build this team up. Yes, you want to see it in practice. You want practice to make perfect, but at the end of the day, it's important to see it in the game.
Yeah.
That's where it's most important to see it. And so if we can go out there and see it in the game, if we can see a defense that right now is able to go out there, an offense that right now is able to go out there and listen, maybe it is just we have to figure out how to be an offensive line around Caleb Williams. That is an aspect of this as well, right? There's a portion of this where the conversation around Caleb right now is okay, he's gonna get killed. You know, he's not gonna be able to navigate this offensive line. They're gonna be
Yeah,
in the backfield all day. Well, guess what? There's a reason you went and got Caleb Williams. He was
yeah.
really good at navigating that in college. He's already been in this situation. He's been behind a struggling offensive line. Now, my thing is, I didn't want him to have to come into the NFL and be behind a struggling offensive line. But there is something to be said for the conversation of, hey, you know, if this guy is able to go out there and you know, be efficient, if he's able to go out there and still move the football down the field, and he's able to navigate his offensive line, those are good things that this Bears team uh, can learn from this Buffalo Bills game. And I hope the Bills bring pressure. I hope that they're in the backfield. I hope that they're sitting there because that's what we're going to see in a real game situation.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And I love what Bearlismo is talking about. Waldron loves late releases from the running backs and the tight ends. You also need that extra protection. I do want to see what kind of schemes they draw up to try and give Caleb a few more seconds to navigate the pocket. And I love what Mercedes Lewis mentioned. I'm pretty sure you heard him when he was speaking highly about Caleb and the fact that, hey, this guy is going to get it. Despite of them seeing the struggles, do you have an issue with Caleb? And he's saying, no, this kid's going to be special. He truly is a player that gets it. He knows what it takes to be special. He's putting in the work. He's impressive. And you kind of lean on that because Mercedes has played with all levels of quarterbacks. He's gone from Blake Bortles in Jacksonville. He's played with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, so he knows what it looks like. When a quarterback gets it. And he said even at this early level, Caleb looks like he gets it. So he doesn't have an issue with offense. So that's again what I want to see is, hey, is there any semblance of continuity or competency, with them on that drive? Because you're going up against a team that isn't just a walkover. Buffalo is a very good team on offense and defense. They lost some pieces. You don't have Stephon Diggs there anymore, but they're still a really, really good team. They picked up some good pieces. So that's what I want to see is how do they fare against this defense? Like you said, if they bring that pressure.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, it's always going to be a work in progress. This is not, and I think this is the one thing I expect Caleb to have some struggles in this game. I expect him to go through the ups and downs, which is why I want to see him out there for the full quarter. I believe the Bills are looking to play their starters for the full quarter anyway. It's why I
Mm.
want to see Caleb out there for the full quarter because I think going through those struggles is what's going to show Shane Waldron where he needs to address his offense. It's why I want to see the offensive line we saw out there right yesterday. Let me pull this up here because I know I tweeted out the starting O line yesterday. I believe it was the same yeah. So yesterday we had Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, Coleman Shelton, Ryan Bates, Darnell Wright.
Mhm.
Darnell Wright ended up going out due to some getting banged up again
Mm.
after the first team drill or team period. But that's the offensive line that I'm expecting to start the season, right?
Yep.
We're getting the conversation out of Flus now where, listen, the pressure is on Nate Davis. And Nate Davis, you heard from Courtney, or I heard from Courtney yesterday, and you guys all, if you listened to yesterday's episode of the Chicago Bears podcast, got a chance to hear it where, Nate Davis feels the pressure. He feels the concern, not only just from us, but from the coaching staff. He feels the, hey, dog, like you gonna get out there and do something. And I'm telling y'all, bro, if y'all could see how he's attacking these battle ropes, I mean, I've seen dudes at the local export attack the battle ropes harder than Nate Davis is attacking these battle ropes. Dog. You know what I mean? Like it is. I know that's not nothing to like sit there and just be like, oh my goodness, like, but bro, like it's depressing to see your starting right guard just like, man.
It's no motivation,
It's
man.
like,
Where's the
bro, like get
motivation?
after it, dog. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you got freaking, like, I think it was Ian Wheeler, who was next to him a couple of days ago, and he's just going nuts. Like, like it's
Sound like
you know what I mean?
Schwarzenegger.
Like, God, like a little enthusiasm. Yeah, it made me feel better about the decision. But like I said, this is probably the starting lineup that you're going to see at this offensive line I want Shane Waldron to see the deficiencies. I want Shane Waldron to see the struggles. I want him to go, oh, okay, so if we're calling this play, that's something that we're going to get. And I think to me, like, this is the one time you're going to see your opponent kind of help you. This is the one time you're going to see, right? The Buffalo Bills are going to come out and go, okay, well, what do you want to see? What looks do you want to see? Here's the looks that we want to see, because they want to test what the quarterback is saying. This is the only time where your opponent really works with you. And I want the Bears to use that to their full advantage. I want to see a quarter of this starting offense, and I don't care if they go down and score on the first drive and Muzz a high five. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we got it. It doesn't matter. Caleb Williams has never called a play in the NFL. He hasn't called plays in a huddle since probably senior year of high school, because he did run a pro style offense in high school at Gonzaga High School. And Caleb Williams, he hasn't had to, in a real game situation, take command of a huddle.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened in 3 years. You need to see that on a field consistently before you're like, we're going to pull him off this field.
Yeah, we've said it plenty of times. NFL action is different from practice, even though we've raved about it, and his players, the vets on the team, the coaches, everybody has raved about how he looks in the field and the command that he naturally has. You do want to see it, in real game time action. So I am definitely looking forward to that. Just real quick, Nate Davis, he had a soft tissue injury, right? That's what's
It is a
plaguing
soft
him now?
tissue injury, or he's soft as tissue.
Or he's
Somebody said that yesterday.
wow.
Like,
I didn't think of that. That's wow.
Like,
Yeah.
phenomenal
See?
joke.
Hey, Charmin. Okay. All right. It is what it is at this point.
No, honestly, soft tissue injuries do linger. I'm joking or being facetious here. Like, soft tissue injuries do linger. But it is.
I think we're just tired. Like we can't use excuses anymore for this guy. We're just tired. Like, even you mentioned him actually working out there's no motor. I want to see a motor. It seems like the motor's there. Like, and I understand what he's going through, and maybe it's still plaguing him. Maybe he's just not really mentally football ready. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. It's understandable, but then that means, okay, you got to go down the depth chart. There's got to be somebody that starts in front of you that's like, hey, I'm ready to go. I'm reared, and I'm ready to get after it.
He's what?
I don't know what did I say?
Weird. He's reared.
He's rearing to go.
Reared.
Let me correct myself for I was like,
he's what now? What's going on here?
Ready to go. All right. Hey.
No, but you know what the thing is now too. It's just we don't have the time to waste.
Yeah,
that's really what it comes down to. There's just no time to waste. There's nothing that you can wait for with Nate Davis. This is, the time is now. If you're going to go after it, if you're going to make this happen, you got to make this happen now. You have to. Like the thing with Nate right now is that if there was a better option there, the Bears would go after it.
Yeah,
the Bears would probably bring that or commit to that guy. But you're not seeing what you need to see out of Nate Davis. I hate to tell y'all this, and I said this yesterday on the show as well. Ryan Bates looks like a backup. When he's out there, he looks like a backup right guard. When he's out now, he hasn't had a ton of snaps at right guard, right? Because he's been doing center and all of that stuff. But when he's out there, he looks like a fill-in piece. It looks like you traded for exactly what he was.
Yeah, which you know you're getting. You're expecting.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even surprised by this part. This part doesn't even faze me. Like, it looks like you traded for exactly what Nate Davis is. Or, I'm sorry, for what Ryan Bates is. And so because of that, you've got this weird situation around the Bears where you kind of still need Nate Davis, because at a minimum, Nate Davis looks like a starting right guard when he's actually on the field.
Yeah.
But if you can't commit to that, if you can't commit to the availability, if you can't commit to being out there, listen, I understand it. I understand why people are concerned. I understand why people don't want to are ready to move on from Nate Davis. And I understand why the Bears are kind of at their wits' end with Nate Davis. And make no mistake about it, guys. When you hear Flus talking, when you hear this front office talk, they are sending messages.
Yeah.
They are at their wits' end.
They've had it up to here with Nate Davis.
So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see kind of this offensive unit go out there against the Bills because to me, this is the offensive unit that you're probably going to see on the field.
Yeah. My last concern from this offensive line is you mentioned it. The guy next to possibly Ryan Bates is Darnell Wright. Hopefully, the little dings and whatever he's going through kind of recover because that's a guy that I'm really, really high on based off of his rookie season going into this year. Is you obviously want that stability. He's a special talent by all accounts from what we saw, and so you want to build on that your sophomore season. And again, going back to Ryan Bates, I think that Ryan Bates being next to Darnell Wright, usually sometimes when you have that tandem next to you, that's pretty special. You can kind of mask some of the deficiencies at times. So even if Ryan Bates is technically a backup or is just serviceable, hopefully, them working together hand in hand will work out throughout the season if that's going to be the starting, right side of the line.
You know what needs to emerge on this offensive line too? Like, and maybe it happens in this game. Maybe it's something that we can see. But like, what needs to emerge is Tevin Jenkins said that the vocal leader on this offensive line is Ryan Bates. Your vocal leader on the offensive line usually needs to be your best offensive line. I need one of these guys to start to voice their opinions. A Darnell Wright, who I think is a phenomenal O lineman.
Good point.
A Tevin Jenkins, who I think is a phenomenal O lineman. Maybe for Tevin, it's too late for him, right?
Yeah.
If he hasn't already taken that mantle on, but I would love to see a Darnell Wright go out there and be like, "Hey, listen, we got to get this thing in order, or this is going to be bad." Because that's what it is. Like, I'm to the point now where my belief is that the Bears got the team they wanted. They're going into the season with the team they wanted. And because of that, guess what? The team you wanted didn't include great offensive linemen. They should be insulted by that. and I want them to feel insulted by that. And I hope that that they go out there with the mindset of like, oh, they think we suck. Let's go show them that we don't suck. The other thing
I like
that you brought up there, what else did you bring up? You said something
about Darnell Wright's health.
Oh, about Darnell Wright's health, yeah. Don't take all the injuries as injuries.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like we watched Darnell Wright play through like having his arm cut off at the shoulder. I always exaggerate this so much because like I remember everybody last year was like he was playing with a half an arm. I was like, he's got two arms out there. One's just hurt. But we saw Darnell Wright like he was in friggin' what's the movie? Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Yeah, I mean, it's a mere flesh wound. We saw him out there dying on the field. But realistically speaking, with the injuries that are here, with some of the things that the Bears have dealt with some of the guys who have been, I told you, I don't know if you weren't on the episode. I mean, like at points during training camp this week, it has looked like an aerobics class over by the bikes. I mean, you got a guy on the ladders. You got 9 guys on the bikes. You got, the battle ropes. Nate Davis over there. That's all he's doing. The ropes are not moving. It's supposed to be multiple waves in the ropes. It's like,
yeah. It's just
ever so gently. I think I think guys like Jaquan Brisker, Kyler Gordon's might be a little more serious than they're letting on because we haven't seen Kyler in 2 weeks. So Kyler Gordon's might be a little bit more serious than they're letting on, but guys like Brisk, guys like Reek, Montez, right? Darnell. Yeah. I think those might be things that if during the season or if we're getting ready to go into game 1, they're playing. So like I wouldn't lose my mind on some of the injuries yet, just because it's like, okay, yes, I would rather have you out there practice healthy, but like we forget, we're thinking in the mindset, or a lot of people are thinking in the mindset of like training camp is where everybody else is at training camp. We're 3 weeks into camp.
Yeah.
And we got 3 weeks to go. We never need another Hall of Fame game, by the way. Like I never need to do this again.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I just wanted to see some football, but I'm good on that now.
I mean, listen, it's just long. Like for me, hey, yo.
What?
That was
playoffs? Don't talk about
playoffs. We'll talk about playoffs.
You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
So do I. I understand you. It was the wrong button there.
Oh man.
Get a hard stop on some of these buttons. But no, man, like I wouldn't over worry about some of the injuries that we're seeing from this Bears team because I think realistically speaking, there's a lot of guys that probably would play through some of the stuff we see because everybody's banged up 3 weeks into camp.
Yeah.
Everybody's dealing with something. Everybody's got some soft tissue stuff. Everybody's got some dings and different injuries, right? That are popping up, and some guys are more willing to play through them and be like, "No, I ain't telling you that," and some guys aren't, which is fine.
Yeah.
But no, man, like I'll tell you this. As far as concepts, by the way, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Appreciate y'all rocking with us early in the morning on this mug, man. Early in the morning, as always. Or not as always. This is something new. By the way, I did announce this yesterday on Locked On, so I guess I can bring this here. Got to talk about some of the news that's happening.
What we got?
Oh boy. So I'm leaving. The reason we're starting this is I am leaving the Locked On network.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
All right.
I am going to be. I got to have more time in the evenings, which means I can have more time in the morning. So we're gonna have the morning breeze. Probably after this month, we'll start doing the morning breeze Monday through Friday. Also, I just need to wake up in the morning. I got in a bad habit. I was sleeping till 9 o'clock sometimes. It was bad. I was knocked out. Yeah, I mean, but
so now you went from, let's see, about 35 jobs to 34 now. Because I think you all know this dude hustles. He grinds. He's like on every podcast show, sports related, that you can look for in Chicago.
But now there's so much more I can do. You know what I mean? I need to be like with my family. So like, you know,
shout out to you.
That is something that I want to do.
Pat the dad.
There's a lot of excitement. Yeah, it is that. It's literally like, all right, I need to put my kid to bed, but also I need to be watching this West Coast basketball game, which I'm still gonna watch, but it's different when you gotta watch and then immediately like turn around and break it down. So
yeah.
I mean,
shout out to you, man. That's awesome.
But the mornings will be here, so make sure that you've got your schedule, your alarms set. 6:30 in the mornings. We're going to be starting this show Monday through Friday, starting in the month of September. So stay tapped in with us on that. The morning breeze is back, baby. I love this. I love the waking up early. You get a nice workout in. Yeah, I mean, get a good stretch in. Start the day right. Little scripture on your mind. You know what I'm saying? That's how we do it.
It just sounds better. I mean, it just sounds good. Just flows. The morning breeze.
The morning breeze. Good morning.
Just sounds right.
Get your coffee. Listen to Bears talk on the way to work, man. I love doing shows this early too, because this is when I used to like be driving into work looking for something.
Same. Yep.
Yeah, I mean.
Yep. Absolutely.
What Relentless like he say? Flips the channel. Oh hey, Pat. Flips the channel. Oh hey, Pat.
For real, like Pat's everywhere. We already know this dude is he plays all over the place, man.
What is something that you guys want to see in preseason? Let us know in the comments. We'll talk to you guys in the comments as well. Let's keep this thing moving along. One thing that I do want to see, because I talked about this yesterday. I want to see if there's a spot on this team for Velus Jones.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
I want to see if there's a real spot on this team for Velus Jones. Because now they're trying him out at running back in a loaded running back room. Like,
yeah, what's that about?
Like he's gonna all of a sudden they're gonna be like, oh snap, we got a guy. Like I really want to see if there's or if we're just playing around at this point. Like maybe we're just having a good time. Sometimes you just want to have a good time. Sometimes you got a guy on the team. Is Velus Jones, and I don't know what his personality is like in that locker room and stuff like that, but is Velus Jones a personality hire? You know what I mean? I was a personality hire, so I know that. I didn't realize that until I found out what this was. For the people that don't know, personality hire is a dude that's like not the greatest at his job, but he's a good time. He keeps everybody happy. You know what I mean? I was a personality hire. You know what I mean? Everybody laughed around me. It was a good time. Stuff almost blew up sometimes. We don't talk about that.
No, I think
I just don't know why Velus is still here when we're like, well, maybe he could play running back. He's not even better than Ian Wheeler.
No,
and I don't know if Ian Wheeler's gonna make this team.
They're trying him out at everywhere, man. I think they're trying to find a reason to keep him. Velus has been here 4 years longer than he needs to be,
Yeah, for
and I
real.
think that's what he was drafted. But no, Velus, hey,
He's a third
you can
round pick. They don't want to cut him.
you can tell that Velus has talent. Like, we're not just going to crap on Velus like he's just some guy walking around in a Bears jersey. Velus has talent. The man is very fast. I mean, there's things about him that you like. There's skills, or rather traits that you like
Oh,
about
you just
Velus.
said the one.
Huh?
You just said the one.
Speed.
Speed.
I was going to say he has some strength to him, for a guy
I mean,
his
he is
size.
strong. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
He is strong.
I, but as Brandon True said, he's got to have something on somebody somewhere, because this man's still being on the team and trying out at different positions. I mean, they're trying to keep him for whatever reason. Yeah, we don't need him in running back. I don't know if they're trying to make him into the next Tariq Cohen. I would assume that because they didn't play him in the Hall of Fame game. I assume that was like his stamp of approval for punt returner or kick returner.
Yes, bro. Like, it literally was like, I guess he's the starting kick returner, so they're not going to play him. This is stupid. The entire week he hasn't returned kicks. The entire week he hasn't returned.
Strange. That's strange.
So, like, I don't know what the role is for Velus Jones. Elias says, in Michigan, showing you guys some love. Appreciate you, Elias. I want to see if Carter makes a huge impact as a returner, receiver. Thoughts? I don't know about as a receiver. It's going to be tough to break this receiver room.
Yeah.
I don't expect to excuse me. I don't expect to see a massive impact from DeAndre Carter on the receiver room. I do think that he can be impactful as a returner. We also got some Roma Dunze as a punt returner, so that'll be interesting to see in this game as well. But realistically, like, I think DeAndre Carter is who he is, and I think he's the problem is, and it's funny because we're talking about Velus here. You got too many Velus Jones. What is DeAndre Carter's skill? He's fast, he can return kicks, and he can play some wide receiver.
Velus Jones, yep.
You got too many Velus Jones.
Yeah.
And I get it. If you're going to have that guy, you want to keep your guy. But I'm not losing my mind over the Velus Jones saga.
Yeah, at this point, I'm not really. Would it bother me if we cut him? No. I mean, honestly, I was really not high on Velus for the past couple of years. I gave it a little grace this year because of the changes on the return game, which I wanted to mention soon. But another person I'm noticing. What did Dan Tanner say?
Velus good as dropping things. Well, I guess he'll be dropping fries and grease.
Velus at your local McDonald's, huh?
1,000 points, Dan Tanner. 1,000
Man.
points.
Go through the drive-through, see Velus giving me my 2 for 2. Okay, all right.
The 2 for 2? You doing a 2 for 2 out here? Trying to cut back. A 2 for 2 is not even. That's just a meal, dog. That's not even worth it. A 2 for 2. You could have just ordered the meal. You ordered a burger and fries. You shorted yourself. Actually, you didn't even get the drink. Like, a 2 for 2 is nuts.
Oh man.
No, yeah, the Velus situation is hilarious at this point. I just want to see if he has a role. One of the other things that I do want to see though, is the relationship between Caleb and his receivers. Where is that at right now? DJ Moore has been a safety net for Caleb through a good chunk of practice, and Keenan Allen is as well. I mean, they're both phenomenal players, so I kind of want to see where that relationship is in real game situation. I want to see where that relationship is in a situation where, like, I got to get this ball out quick because they're in the backfield. Also, I'm interested to see how Shane Waldron fits in with that and with that relationship, because I mean, like, he's going to have to navigate this. What do you do when your quarterback's under duress? Is this going to turn into a ton of screen passes? Is it? Because here's the thing. Shane Waldron, I know, like, in our minds, he's night and day different than Luke Getsy. But he kind of does screen passes to extend the run game. He's not going to run the football a ton. He's going to use the short passes to extend the run game. Like, those are things that I expect to see out of Shane Waldron this season. I'm not delusional in thinking that this is going to be a complete night and day difference. Now, you hope the development of a quarterback is a night and day difference, but I don't think this is going to be a complete night and day difference. So for me, the big thing that I want to see is how does he utilize the receivers in a different game that I kind of expect this offensive line to get blown up on. How do you make Caleb's life easier in that situation?
Yeah, it's a matter of, like I said, making sure you get good protection. That's one of the things that you really want to come away with feeling more confident about, after this game, or rather with the first quarter. If they play the entire first quarter. Uh, One of the biggest things that, and I'm going back to that because I mentioned it briefly, is I personally want to see what does this kickoff arrangement look like, because what we saw in the Hall of Fame game, I'm gonna be honest with you, you can throw it in the trash, in my opinion. I really don't think that it looks good enough. You saw, and I know you mentioned it was slick on the floor, but you saw Tyler Scott almost look like he took his head off. You saw a couple other returns that just didn't look good. It was just like, man, this version of return is not looking too good. So I do want to see if there's any improvement based off of what they put out on film uh, 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 from the Hall of Fame game to this week, and see if they have any sort of improvement with that, because it doesn't look good.
Yeah, that kickoff rule is interesting, and I think there will be. I mean, listen, it was the first time it was unveiled. I didn't get to watch any of the games last night because me and my wife had a thing to go to, but
Okay.
I didn't see how if the kickoff rule looked better, if there were any changes to it. I saw that we got a little bit of an unveiling of the chip in the ball to try and spot where the ball is.
Hmm.
That's gonna be a work in progress.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
That is gonna be a work in progress because I think that there was a play where it was like a 3rd and short on the Lions where it basically looked like 3rd and inches, and then it ended up being like 3rd and a yard because I guess he bobbled the ball as he was going down, and so when he bobbled the ball, it changed the spot of the ball. It was weird, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like that chip in the ball is gonna be interesting. It's gonna drive coaches nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
True.
like here's the thing. I wonder, are the chips in the middle or at the tips of the ball? Because like that changes things drastically. I don't need to know where the center of the ball is. I need to know where the end of the ball is.
Yeah.
I wonder if they got like the chips like, well, we'll put a symmetrical right in the middle. Like I wonder if that's gonna be an issue. We'll see what that ends up being, man. But I saw a little bit of that last night, and I was just like, this is gonna be a problem. I could see this because there's gonna be plays that look like clear first downs that are gonna be marked short because of the chip. I don't think this makes it to the season.
I hope not. I think there are certain things that just need to stay the way they are, and that's one of them.
Yeah, yeah. That's gonna be a tough one. That's one for me where if it does make it to the season, it's going to have to quickly improve. It's going to have to quickly move in the right direction. Silver Harvest said didn't help yesterday as well. It was raining for kickoffs as well. They were sliding around. Oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
The UFL has the chip in the middle of the ball to keep balance. Yeah, but I don't care about the UFL. I need the NFL to get this right. I need to know where the end of the ball is. You know what I mean? Put 2 chips in it. Put 2 chips in it.
I like Happy's comment about DJ Moore. You'll see him not get double teamed because obviously we have more receivers that the defense has to worry about on the field. So that'll be something to look forward
No,
to.
yeah, man, that's gonna be exciting to see. I can't wait to see this offense in action. It's why I'm excited to see him versus the Bills, because it is going to be difficult to cover from a DB perspective, and if guys can't get home, you're talking about having to cover for 2, 3, 4 seconds. Um, that's going to be a benefit to the Chicago Bears, right? Because
Yeah.
it's just going to be like at a certain point, at the end of the day, the guys you have to cover are 2 of the best guys in the NFL, 2 of the most difficult guys to cover. You've also got a quarterback who has a willingness to try and get the football in those tight windows to those guys, and they're 2 of the best guys who can pick it out of those tight windows. There's a lot to benefit from here. I'm excited to see how Rome fits in. The fact that we're getting the first team offense, that's really the part that it's the start of real football for me. Yeah, I mean, and I know it's still preseason, but like not getting the first team offense in week 1, I think that not that it was a vast mistake, but I feel like you missed an opportunity to start Caleb's clock on. Okay, now you've seen what real game speed is. Now you've seen what how to set up a huddle. Now and yes, it would have only been for a drive, but you saw that tempo, you saw that moment.
Yeah.
Now you're doing that this week. Now you're at the same spot as everybody else, right? Drake May is just now seeing it, so you're not losing your mind on that anymore. But I would have loved to see that clock already started. Use every game that you have. We didn't win the Super Bowl last year. There's a reason that we had the not only just the number 1 overall pick, but the number 9 overall pick, which was our pick.
we were still
We weren't
bad.
good
Yeah.
enough. So now use these moments, learn from these moments, use them as much. And I hate I don't know, maybe this is just me personally, but it's always like, we'll see what the other team's doing and then we'll do it. I don't care what the other team is doing. The other team doesn't have the number 1 overall pick quarterback that's supposed to be a generational talent.
Yeah.
I care what we're doing.
Yeah,
And that kills me.
Building it off
Like,
somebody
we'll
else.
talk with the other coaches. We'll see what they're doing. Like Caleb may play a quarter only because the first team offense on the other side is going to play a quarter. Like that's stupid. It makes no sense. I get it. Well, what are you going to learn from backups? He don't know how to set up an offense in the NFL yet.
So you would say playing more. Play him
as much as you can. I'm not sitting there telling you playing for a whole game, but like Tom Thayer said this, and the thing about me with doing these shows is I listen to the people that played the game because I ain't played the game. I dislocated my shoulder, lied to my mom, and was like, oh dang it. Guess I gotta pop this back in and get the heck up out of here because I'm never doing this again. Yeah, I mean, so I didn't play at that level. So for me, when I look at Shane Waldron, or I'm sorry, when I look at Caleb Williams trying to set things up, I'm gonna take Tom Thayer's word for it. He said, listen, this offensive line with this quarterback needs 1,000 snaps together. I don't know if you're gonna get to 1,000 snaps right now, but it's nice to start it. It's nice to get yourself moving in that direction. We finally seen some consistency at O-line just because of guys being injured. Like this to me is a conversation that I am excited to finally be starting legitimately of these 5 guys with Caleb Williams is probably going to be what you got going out against Buffalo. That's what I want to see. I want to see him getting that continuity, getting that rhythm together and figuring some things out together.
Now, I do got a question for you. Outside of what we're looking forward to see in the first string offense, Caleb and the guys, is there anybody else for the rest of the game that you want to see stand out? Because I do got one guy.
I want to see if Colin Johnson is even going to be out there. Haven't seen as much of him.
We on the same
he's
page
been
with
dealing
that.
with some stuff, but I mean, listen, Colin Johnson was a monster. You know what I mean? In that first game. And to me, I said this after the game ended. I don't want to see like some people are crowning him. He's on the roster. Here we go. Hey, you know what I mean? Like Muzzle, like he's better than Velus. We're putting him on top. He's got it. Maybe
he might be better than
Velus. Let's breathe on this a little bit, right? He looks good against 2s and 3s.
Right. That's true.
He looked good in special teams against the ones. I'll give him, although it was pretty much 2s in that game. It was all 2s and 3s. So he looked good in special teams to start things off. To me, you earned your job. You earned an opportunity for you to try and go up against the ones. I would love to see him get some time in there in that first quarter, some scheme, some play where it's like, okay, let me see what you look like against DBs that actually are paid to do this at a high level. That's all I want to see. And then if you do that, guess what? Can you do it again? But I think that he's earned at least the nod to say, I'll give you a shot versus these guys. I would love to see him actually be able to take advantage of that. And keep cooking on special teams.
Yeah, because who's behind Tyler Scott? Is it Velus or is it Dante Pettis on the depth chart for the wide receivers?
Listen, I mean, like Velus is a running back, so technically, I guess he's not on the wide receiver depth chart anymore. So
you know what I mean? So no, I think Colin Johnson has a way to get in, at least stay on the roster. I mean, you're right about the fact that he did kind of dominate versus 2s and 3s, so that's nothing to really write home about. You do want to see if he's competent against guys that like you said, are paid to stop him at a high level. I do like his measurables. He went up and got it a few times. It was an impressive catch he had down the sideline over the DB's outreach. I think that was the one that stood out to me last game. But just hopefully he can build off of it because he does look competent enough to stay on this team.
No, for sure. By the way, early morning, but still over 100 in the chat.
Hey,
No.
let's get it.
But no, yeah, I think that Colin Johnson is somebody I'm going to be keeping an eye on. I want to see these backup DBs again as well. I mean, listen, yesterday was a big day for them. Can you do that versus an offense that's not trying to figure it out though? The backups did not look good in the Hall of Fame game, and I want to see, okay, how do they look heading into this Bills game versus the guys who are kind of going to be out, because you're going to get some of them in there as well, right? Your Terrell Smiths are going to be a part of this offense. So I want to see how they look. Elijah Hicks had a couple of massive plays yesterday where he ends up not only just picking off Caleb Williams on the first one, but throws it right back. Caleb attacks him on the very next play, trying to get it to Gerald Everett. Elijah Hicks almost one-hand picked it, but he ended up just knocking the football down. Yeah, I mean, like, those are things that, okay, like, what do those guys look like against the real competition? I know we've seen them last season, but let's see that continue, because we've talked about the depth of this team at the DB position. I want to see that depth on display. And so that's another thing I'm looking forward to, is just seeing, what kind of where the depth of this team is at right now. We've talked about defensively, how much depth there is. Is there enough offensive depth? Is there any offensive depth? You know what I mean? Like, on the offensive line, maybe not. Receiver room feels like there is. Running back room feels like there is.
Definitely, yeah.
And also, I think the running back room is a good place to go as well. Like, outside of DeAndre Swift, who's getting this ball? We saw Roschon Johnson get the start in that Hall of Fame game.
I like what I saw.
I like what I saw. He ran hard. He runs aggressive. He ran through somebody. I mean, like, I love that. And he does everything you need him to do. And guess what? With where this offensive line is, I know people are like, Khalil Herbert's your backup. I don't know. We're going to need a lot of blocking.
Yeah. And that's something that he can't provide.
Your third best blocker last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
We'll see what it ends up being, man. Hey, we appreciate y'all tuning in and showing love, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Morning Breeze. We're going to be doing this a lot more Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to start things off this month. And then at the end of the month, when I do eventually end up leaving Locked On, I'm sad. I'm not going to lie. It's a good leave, though. It's a good leave. I'm excited to start a new journey. But when I do end up leaving Locked On, we'll be 5 days a week doing this starting in September. So tap in with us on the Morning Breeze. Keep us locked in everywhere you go. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. As always, for Mr. Meaty, Jordan JC, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bird down. One love. Peace. I gotta let a few seconds play on this apparently now, because they say that if I hit it right away, hey,